Good evening, everybody, and good afternoon, everyone. 大家晚安，大家午安. My name is Heng Sure. Today is Saturday, April 11th, here in the Gold Coast of Queensland, and it is 7:30 p.m. in California, a day before, on the 10th. Hope you're all well. We're going to be continuing our investigation of the picture biography of Master Empty Cloud today, and our Dharma requester today is Vera, down in Sao Paulo, Brazil. So we're grateful for that. And I'm going to ring the bell 3 times here and invite you all to make a half bow, if you care to do so, from your seats. Make 3 half bows, and then we'll proceed. Here we go. Yi Wenxun, first bow. Tsai Wenxun, second bow. San Wenxun, third bow. Okay, Vera, if you would like to request Dharma, please begin right now.
恭敬的圣听，为此法会集切众生，清净妙法论教导我们，如了生脱息力苦得乐，速证无生。Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to leave suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death, and quickly realize non-birth.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sadanto sucedoye olahudi sanmyao sanputoshe.
Namo sadanto sucedoye alahodi samyao samputoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿觉如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. All right, Vera, thank you so much. I'm delighted that you can request Dharma all the way from Brazil to Australia. I guess we're both in the Southern Hemisphere, so that helps, right? So to continue, I would like to respectfully acknowledge the 𝗏𝗵𝗶𝘁𝗶𝗀𝗏 people of the 𝗥𝗲𝗰𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗏 language region as traditional storytellers and custodians of the land where our monastery is located. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 这是我们恭敬地承认𝗥𝗲𝗰𝗂𝗏的𝗏𝗵𝗶𝘁𝗏人，是我们寺院所在地的传统许舍者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向所有从来没有放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。We'll do the bell song to continue our protocols to begin our lecture. Here we go. Bell sound wide resounds throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world, the wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. The original in Chinese says, 众生传3000劫内，佛法扬万亿国中，共寻其法界和平，利益宝贪恼后者。 Alrighty, here we go. Let me let the Chinese speakers know we have a translation. 就说你们各位愿意听中文的普通话的人，我们有办法了。你的软件的控制板的右下角那里有一个叫 interpretation， 你们看到了吗？那里就你如果按那里就有 Chinese 就可以了哈。Also, we have a Vietnamese translation as well of our lecture today. The words that I'm speaking in English get translated through the kindness of a good-hearted translator, volunteer into Vietnamese for you. If you would like to be a Dharma requester like Vera was today, there's a link in the chat box. Click on that and we'll be happy to sign you up. It's a wonderful experience. If you can only do one language, no worries, we'll set that up for you. Okay, welcome everybody. Let's see here. We have, who's with us today? We have our co-host in Fremont. Here, our translator in the Chinese is here in the Gold Coast of Queensland, southeastern Queensland. Let's see here. We have friends from Ukiah and from Vancouver and Malaysia, Napa, California, Talmadge, Cascade, Colorado. Let's see, Guangzhou. Okay, wow, 欢迎. Let's see here, Campbell, California. Storytellers are present. Hong Kong, Sunnyvale, Montreal, New York City, Oregon. Let's see here, Berkeley, California, Jakarta, Indonesia, City of 10,000 Buddhas, Malaysia, Kansas, America, Singapore, San Francisco, Los Angeles, St. Petersburg, Florida, Mesa, Arizona, Calgary, Alberta, Oklahoma, San Jose, let's see here, Alameda, Virginia, Ukiah, where else? Santa Barbara, okay. Then we switch over to the other half of the planet. We've got Taipei and Beijing and Harbin and Suzhou and Beijing and Jiangsu and Shandong and Shenzhen and Tangshan, 那就是河北。Harbin, Shandong, 陕西西岸。好，欢迎。Let's see here. Also, let's see here. 广东、北京、安徽、浙江、陕西、福建。OK， 东北那就吉林。安徽、天津，那就是哪里？就说对了，还有哈尔滨、张家口，内蒙古呼和浩特，还有鄂尔多斯是，深圳、河北、北京，还有浙江、唐山、北京、江苏、昆明，就是四川哈。北京、深圳、浙江、哈尔滨、河南、珠海、哈尔滨，东北人最多，肯定是这样子。黑龙江、辽宁都是东北，深圳、江苏 ，OK 长春、河南、江苏、苏州、洛阳，还有黑龙江。OK, so we've determined that there are more Manchurian friends listening in than anywhere else. China's northeast. Okay, happy to report that the space capsule tripping around the moon, the planet moon, the Earth planet's moon, Earth moon, the Earth's planet, our only one, has successfully plopped itself down into the Pacific Ocean outside of San Diego, and the 4 astronauts are safely in the medical bay on board the ship. So that's America and Canada, a joint venture, but certainly it's a moment for all of humanity, as every time we get close to the moon, everyone pays attention. China has big plans for going to the moon in the next few years, so that's another opportunity for the planet to come together and do something incredible. So, if you'll notice my desktop, I'll move these out of the way so you can see it more clearly. Here we go. There we are. Put that right down there. Here is Master Empty Cloud. Here are 3 bhikshus. Maybe this gentleman here might not be a bhikshu, but the other 2 certainly are. And here in front of Master Empty Cloud, something that looks like a load of laundry, but it's not. It's a white fox. And here is its face. It's the reports about this particular fox was that it had black markings on it. It wasn't purely white. It was white with black markings, which you can see here. Here is the tail. The fox's tail is curled around him, and he is kneeling, bowing. So the fox has its head down. These are the ears. So what is going on here? Master Empty Cloud is giving the 3 refuges to a white fox at Nanhua in Guangzhou. So just to say, that's our story today, and we have one of the photos. Many of the episodes in our picture biography don't have a photo to go with them, but this one does. Let's read the caption. The caption goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So top to bottom, top to bottom. It says, 草溪虚云老人为白狐说戒，四命向善，白狐负手，恭听之请，庄祥正各地致意. Okay, quite a caption here. It says, Master, the elder Empty Cloud at Caoxi. Caoxi is the creek, Cao Creek, around Nanhua Monastery, 6 Patriarchs Monastery. So at Caoxi, the elder Empty Cloud is transmitting the precepts for a white fox, giving him the name towards goodness, Xiangshan. The white fox is bowing its head and respectfully listening, and Qingzhuang Xiangzheng. So as a sign of good fortune, or as a remarkable sign, people in every land consider this to be remarkable, right? So there you go. That's this photo. Now, let's listen to the story. Let's see here. I would like to share my screen. I'm going to go away and come right back. Let's see. Hold on here. There we go. Yeah. I'm not going to go away. I'm right here. Here we go. What's the story today? I'll tell you what, I have 2 episodes, and one of them is much shorter than the other, so I'm going to go to the second episode in our pair today, and do this one first, and then come back and talk about the white fox. So, hope that's not, don't consider that an anticlimax, right? So, okay, just to make sure I'm all where I want to be. Here we go. Share screen. There we go. All right. And close that. Then that's not what I want to do. Let's see here. Oh, I know what that is. All right, I understand. I'm working with my share that screen. I'm going to disappear and come right back. Don't go away. There we go. Okay, now we're back in business. Here's our second episode today. We'll do this one first because it's very straightforward. The second one requires some in-depth, so we'll do this one first and get it out of the way. So this is our teacher is 98 years old. The year is 1937, and the story goes, 𝗦𝗲𝗴𝗸𝗀𝗲𝗁, a Tibetan lama respectfully requests to take refuge. Okay, here comes the Chinese. 𝗩𝗲𝗵𝗂𝗀𝗀𝗀供应广州居士10连请赴岁奖金，时有西藏活佛荣藏堪布金刚上师与𝗨𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀 等10余人，慕道德而来皈依。佛山诸僧众护法等请赴佛山，为人受寺宝塔开光，会南华寺仍修造各院与工程，经营料理。Okay? After the spring precept period of 1937, the master, who is now 98, count them, 98 years old, accepted an invitation from the Lay People's Association of Canton, Guangzhou, to visit and explain a sutra. A Tibetan living Buddha, Vajra master Rongzong Khanbu, arrived, accompanied by 𝗨𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗀𝗀 and 10 others. Admiring the master's virtue in the way, they came to receive refuge. Later, members of the Sangha and protectors of the Dharma invited the master to go to Foshan Buddha Mountain and conduct the opening of the light ceremony for the jewel pagoda at Rensho Monastery. Returning to Nanhua Monastery, the master continued to oversee the tasks of reconstruction there. Okay, context. So Master 𝗪𝗪𝗏, when we last plugged in, he was about, 300 to 400 miles north of here, at Gushan, Drum Mountain, where he was rebuilding this famous monastery at Gushan that had gotten corrupted, and people were no longer running the place the way a monastery should be run. The buildings had fallen into disrepair, and wanting the ancient monastery of Gushan Yongquan-si, Bubbling Spring Monastery, wanting that place to be put in order, the lay people invited Master 𝗪𝗪𝗏 to come from Yunnan in the far, far southwest of China, to travel all the way across the country to the far southeast, not too far from Taiwan and the coast, and to rebuild Yongquan-si. So he did that and put it back in order. And we were listening last couple of weeks, to all the different reforms that he put in place. Now, the same situation happened at Nanhua Monastery, which is not too far from Guangzhou. And this is the famous Tang Dynasty monastery, the sixth patriarch, where the Chan, the Zen school, was established in China. So he's agreed to do that. And it's a big job because he needs money, he needs strength, he needs support of the government, he needs protection from the civil war is going strong in China, the Japanese invasion is happening up in the north. So he's doing all this, and the word gets out that Master 𝗪𝗪𝗏 is rebuilding one of China's most famous historic monasteries. So people come from all directions to draw near. Here in our picture biography, the Hong Kong-based woodblock artist has given us an image of Tibetan monks, several dozen Rinpoche, coming to take refuge. And this is internal Buddhist politics are not, because basically there is harmony among southern, northern, and Tibetan traditions. So Theravada, Mahayana, Vajrayana, the three schools are kind of cousins to each other. And in some cases there's mutual recriminations. The Theravada look at the Mahayana monks and say, you guys are bankers. You all cling to money, you've forgotten your precepts. That's a kind of a knee-jerk stereotypical attack. The Mahayana looks down on the Theravada and says, oh, you self-ending arhats are selfish, you forget the Bodhi resolve, you never made the Bodhi resolve, you're just seeking nirvana, you pay no attention to living beings suffering. Shame on you, right? So those are the stereotypical knee-jerk accusations that have plagued the schools traditionally, but Master Empty Cloud, Master Xuanhua, our teacher, do not give time or credence to those kinds of superficial accusations, and in fact they seek harmony, and they say that the Buddha did not create the Dharma for humans to struggle and fight with each other over power, and so let's come back together in the middle. Forget the north and the south. We're one Dharma body. So Master Empty Cloud is exemplifying that right here. Now, from the point of view of the Tibetans, until China took over Tibet, most people had no idea about Tibetan Buddhism because you had to go where they were, over 10,000 feet up in the Himalayas, to find them. They were very happy to stay at high altitudes in Tibet. But with the political takeover, the Tibetan diaspora began, and we began to have contact with between yanas, between Tibetan Buddhism and the rest. Now there was, mind you, I'm describing it in big brushstrokes. There was what was called lama jiao in the north of China. So, for example, in Beijing, you could find lama jiao temples, and some of the emperors of the Qing dynasty, the last dynasty, preferred what was called mizong, the secret school, over the xianzong, the revealed school of the Mahayana. And if you go out to Wutaishan, out on the far northwest of China, which is not that far from the home of Tibetan Buddhism, and also in Umeishan, out in Sichuan, you can look out from the top of Umeishan and see the mountains of Tibet. So, of course, if they're neighbors, they understand each other, and there is contact between the traditions. But by and large, contact with Tibetan Buddhism was a 20th century phenomenon. So to have lamas come down, especially Rinpoches, and these what are called living Buddhas, which is just a title. It doesn't mean that they're assuming they are Buddhas. It's a title. To have them come and ask a Mahayana monk, Master Empty Cloud, for refuge, to be their teacher, is an extraordinary event here. And to have Master Empty Cloud say, sure thing, no problem. We're all one Dharma family. That's even more good news. So our teacher, Master Empty Cloud, writes a 4-line verse for each of these episodes of the life of Master Empty Cloud. And this particular verse goes like this. 广开法眼度寒士 大禅教义化盲痴 西藏活佛来归净 东正比丘第一支 Setting forth a vast banquet of Dharma, he took many beings across. Clearly expounding the teaching's meaning, he taught the masses. A living Buddha from Tibet respectfully received the refuges. The land of China produced an exceptionally fine picture. So there's the story. That's a little bit of the background and why this is a remarkable event. The echoes of this continued because, as we're going to find out, there are only 20 more episodes in our entire book. There are only 200 total. So in the last, and Master Empty Cloud is 98, he's got 22 years of his life to go, mind you. But we're going to find out about the Buddhist Association of China, which he was a founding member of, and he invited Tibetan lamas to join. So his ecumenical his intra-Buddhist vision of Buddhism coming back together included giving Tibetan monks leadership roles in the Chinese Buddhist Association, which continues to this day. If you look at the 𝗦𝗲𝗴𝗶𝗀𝗃 right now in China in 2026, there is a strong Tibetan and Theravada presence. So China has continued to bring the three yanas into one Buddhist family. Okay, that's our second episode for today. The reason why I wanted to take this out of order is because this episode we have not only the essentials of to fit in the format of this book, but we have details. So I wanted to tell the story from the picture biography and then go to the 𝗫𝗵𝗶, the autobiography, to fill in the color around the black and white, if you know what I mean. So here we go. 𝗦𝗲𝗴𝗲𝗀𝗃. A white fox takes refuge and upholds the precepts. This was 1936. The teacher was 97 years old. Here we go. 丙子97岁，春仍传戒，后有国父主席林公子超、居院张正、张公正等。One more time. 张公中正等. There you go. Try saying that 5 times fast. 张公中正等，来寺助修各工程，师草溪住房，16团长林国正，西夷白虎志，宋放生，共为说诡异经，放置山中不去。儒家福，儒家权，守于寺中，后备车上退，共为说记超度。Okay. In the spring of 1936, the precepts were transmitted as usual. The master was 97. Later, the chief of state, Lin Zichao, Chief Justice Zhu Zheng, and General Jiang Zhongzheng, who was Chiang Kai-shek, among others, came to the monastery and assisted in the renovation. At that time, the 16th Route Army was garrisoned at Caoxi. Its leader, Lin Gokeng, brought a white fox to the monastery to be set free, to be liberated. So, Fangsheng, liberating life. The master explained the meaning of taking refuge to the fox, and it was released in the mountains. Refusing to leave, it remained in the monastery area like a pet dog. Later on, it was injured by a cart, and the master composed a verse to take its spirit across. All right, so this is continuing one of the themes of the later years of Master Empty Cloud's teachings, which is an incredible connection with non-human beings. So our artist has given us a fox here, okay, and a military man. And here is Master Empty Cloud in his patched robe sitting on a Dharma seat. The fox is bowing down, and there's the reality of it. Thanks to the miracle of photography, you can actually see the event as then our artist tried to do a rendition of it. All right, so what's the verse? And then we're going to go directly to the color details in the autobiography. 白狐皈依更灵通，讲功咒智远相迎。入帐引弓出剑客，彼此握手笑盈盈。A white fox takes refuge, something truly magical. General Jiang suddenly arrives, and the fox welcomes him. Then to the abbot's room to notify him that guests have come. Amid hearty laughter, they shake hands all around. Okay. So, yeah, Master Empty Cloud was able to communicate to other species, and they came looking for him, which is the most remarkable thing. All right, ready. Here's the 𝗵𝗶. Okay, our translator, Cliff, is going to kindly read the Chinese, so you all don't have to listen to my version. Let's see here. There's the Tibetans. Here we go. All right. These are extra stories that we're going to get into next time. Okay, Cliff, if you don't mind, here is that big enough? Let me make it bigger for you here. Okay, please.
Okay. 附录一白狐事迹10版本。民国25年丙子，南华放春期戒坛，三坛毕将解戒。曹溪驻防军第16团团长林伯敦来见，携一剑，中有物，白之黑章，毛甚泽，𝗦𝗲𝗴𝗀𝗀𝗱𝗏。团长曰：“此物来历颇奇，出于广州白云山为猎者所获，或曰广州拆城开马路，从城还一株被获。吾有𝗦𝗲，以40元得之，书拟作补品烹制，以𝗦𝗲𝗿𝗶，以其目灼灼有光，且解人意，不忍载。秋而至于广州动物园园中，甲悬以示，系𝗟榭，非其罪也。该案久不决，会有为服卵者，家父欲寇吉凶，其谈未言而激动，所事恰中其引，判是求狐之报。并是南华寺现有高僧主化，依溯江湖送往放生，宋事可解。复还设法除狐，甲故与林团长善，林释法少官团部，故托之，待送到寺云。
Okay, this account was recorded by Dharma Master Guanben, who we've now heard about in the last 3 or 4 episodes. He's the elder scholar who took refuge, who became a monk at age 66, and which is old for a monk. Master Empty Cloud recruited him to be the librarian of Yongquan in Wenzhou at Gushan, and so he has been. Most of the stories that we've heard the last 3 or 4 episodes came from his pen. He is a real man, a monk of letters. So this is his writing. At Nanhua Monastery, during the spring ordination session, after the completion of the 3 precepts of 3 platforms of precepts, before they undid the boundaries, which is part of the ceremony that you do, Colonel Lin Guogeng, commander of the 16th Regiment, which was stationed at Shaoxi, around the monastery. So there's an entire army surrounding Nanhua Si. He came to visit. He brought with him a cage containing a creature, white in body with black markings. Its fur glossy with a pointed snout and a long tail. It was a fox. The colonel said, "This creature has a strange history. It was first captured by a hunter at White Cloud Mountain in Guangzhou. Some say it escaped when the city walls were demolished and the roads were opened, and then it was caught. A friend of mine bought it for $40, 40 yuan, intending at first to cook it as a tonic and enjoy a good meal. Wuhan wet markets, and let's see, what happened after that? But seeing its bright, intelligent eyes, and that it seemed to understand human intentions, he could not bear to kill it. So he kept it confined in the Guangzhou Zoo. So his humanity overcame his gourmet tongue. Thank you. Soon after, that friend became entangled in a legal case, though through no fault of his own. And he remained imprisoned for a long time without resolution. At that time, somebody who practiced planchette, divination, fuji. Anybody know what this is? Ouija boards. So he had a Ouija board fortune teller, was consulted to say, why is his case stuck in legal limbo? Why can't he resolve his case? My friend's wife sought to divine his fortune, but before she could speak, the little wooden doohickey on the Ouija board started to move, revealing matters that precisely matched their hidden, meaning invisible, situation behind the reason behind the current stasis, right, where they couldn't move it forward. It judged this was his retribution connected to the imprisoned fox in the zoo. Thank goodness he didn't eat it. It further indicated that there was currently a great monk at Nanhua Monastery presiding over the Dharma. The fox should quickly be sent there and released, and then the guy's legal troubles will be resolved. Check that out, right? So this is quite a statement for Ouija board fortune telling. Not only did it know the reason why the guy was stuck in legal limbo, but how to resolve it. How about that? The wife was startled. She arranged to buy the fox back because her husband's in jail, right? Since my friend and I are close, and I happen to be returning to Nanhua Monastery to my regiment, she entrusted me to deliver the fox to the monastery. Okay, who's speaking? The essay written by the literary monk is quoting a military. Did they give his rank? Colonel. He's a colonel, and he's coming with carrying a gift, explaining why he has a fox in his possession, and what's he doing, consulting with the monk at Nanhua Monastery, close to where the military is stationed. Okay, everybody following? So far, so good. Cliff, if you don't mind, taking over from here. 住持云公。
住持云公闻而纳之，乃为胡说三归五戒法。纵之后山林路，每归就寺求食，僧赐之，自受戒法，既不食肉，喜果耳。修寺工匠系肉块掺果于食，胡撅挖之，粪前爪，见擦数次，怒目一降。若对其相欺者，随窜去，数日不返。一日为乡人所逐，恼生10丈许之数颠，报之长号，𝗧弥白方丈。云公出而展望，一见老和尚，即趋而下，阅览衣袂，若训犬之见主，乃挟之归，恐受猎者珍刺，为所获，乃设匣以续之。见或纵之出，则盘桓寺中，不复其邻国。
Okay, Master Empty Cloud, the abbot, upon hearing what the colonel was doing with the fox, accepted it. He said, "Sure, I will happily do a feng sheng, a liberating life." He then administered to it the 3 refuges and 5 precepts, and released it into the forested hills behind the monastery. So, as he has done to a tiger, a myna bird, who else? Got a cow that came in crying tears. He he says the formula of taking refuge of the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, and then the 5 precepts as well. Now, after sending the fox out into the wilds, the fox came back looking for food, and the monks, of course, gave it some food. And then from the time it received the precepts, the fox no longer ate meat, but preferred fruit and simple fare. This is not a fairy tale. This is not hagiography. This is actually reportage. This is journalism. This is what happened. Once a temple worker put a piece of meat in with the fruit and fed it to the fox, saying they couldn't believe that the fox would be vegetarian, right? Sure enough, the fox detected it, spat it out, and angrily scratched and pawed at the ground several times, glaring at the worker as if reproaching him for deceit, and then it ran into the mountains and didn't come back. So how do you suppose the worker felt? All right, maybe I should look into this vegetarian stuff. One day it was chased by villagers and it climbed to the top of a tree over 10 meters high, clinging to a branch and crying out loudly. A novice monk came running in to tell the abbot that the fox was up a tree, which it shouldn't be. They're not known for climbing trees. Elder Yun came down, looked up. As soon as the fox saw the monk, it came down the tree and grabbed onto him like a dog greeting its master. The monk brought it back. So, saved by the abbot, the fox recognizes where safety is. Fearing that the fox would be tracked by hunters and recaptured, they kept the fox in a cage, but they would open it regularly so he could roam within the grounds and out of the woods, where he was just a wild animal. Here, he is an honored guest, even though he's wearing fur. Okay, please, Chinese, Cliff, you want to do it again?
一日讲公不立寺，未殿10余随行，先不关白。至曹西门见白狐，便逆举枪，讲制之。狐摇手吊尾，倒讲前行，至大殿中，即飞跑至方丈，弃弓衣下楼，举讲会武。据说因缘，均大笑。狐每见于公坐，即伏禅榻上，见公闭目久坐，时履公须以为戏。公开目视之，则谓吾有灵性，吾也。或出山门外，与店家小儿女戏。某年月日，不知如何竟被车辙离致重伤，屠夫不能起。老和尚视之，有勉强挣扎，以伤势老人。老人知其不治，泯其痛楚，乃开示曰：这个皮囊无足留恋，汝须放下，忏悔过去夙业，一念之差，堕于异类，复遭恶报，因此痛苦。此事夙业报满，愿我一心念佛，速得解脱。吾次会议，点手在者，俄逆3声而逝，陈氏2日不变。老人以百丈为野狐下于转语，托野狐身公案，遂被官依王僧立，今送葬于南华山后，乃为名曰。
Okay, here's the verse, last one.
不若不昧，因果抵对，不快其统，虚空粉碎，狗子佛性有无何碍？古露枯春，苍鹰气盖，古死兔气，两者耐待。一类中行，当观自在。
Okay, so one day, General Jiang, who's that? That's Chiang Kai-shek, right? Jiang Jieshi, Jiang Zhongzheng. One day, General Jiang unexpectedly visited the monastery, accompanied by more than 10 bodyguards, without prior notice. He just showed up. At the Caoxi gate, they saw the white fox. A bodyguard around the general, raised his rifle to shoot it, but Jiang Jieshi, thank goodness, said, do not shoot the fox. The fox nodded its head and tail, wagged its tail, and led Jiang forward into the monastery. Upon reaching the main hall, it ran ahead to Master Empty Cloud's quarters, took hold of his robe, and tugged him downstairs to meet Jiang Jieshi. The the circumstances were explained, and everybody laughed, I guess. So when the fox plays the role of the 𝗥𝗲𝗰𝗀𝗀𝗀, the guest prefect, and notifies the abbot that he's got guests. Whenever the fox saw Master Empty Cloud sitting down, it would go sit beside him on the meditation cushion. When the master sat long with eyes closed in samadhi, the fox would sometimes play with his beard. The master would just open his eyes and say, "You are spiritually aware, do not remain wild," which is, there's a Dharma message in that phrase. At times, it would go outside the monastery gate and play with the shopkeeper's children. That translation, let's see here. Let's see here. 这个皮, let's see here. 塔上物质他如有灵性无也 Okay, so he would say, you have a spiritual nature, don't be wild. In other words, come back out of your fox body and start to cultivate again. So that's another way to translate that. All right. So one unfortunate day, the fox was run over by a cart and severely injured, and it couldn't rise. It crawled with difficulty, so a cart ran over its leg. When the old monk came to see it, the fox struggled to show him his wounds. Master Empty Cloud knew that was a fatal wound. Moved by compassion for his suffering, it gave him instructions. He said, "This skin bag is not worth clinging to any longer. Let it go. Repent of past karmic deeds. Because of a single thought gone wrong, you became an animal, and now you suffer the painful retribution of this animal's body. Your karma is now over. Single-mindedly recite the Buddha's name, and you will be crossed over. You'll be saved." The fox seemed to understand, nodded twice, choked 3 times, and died. Its body remained uncorrupted. It didn't change for 2 days. So Master Empty Cloud recalled the teaching of Baizhang Chansir and gave, gave a turning phrase to free the wild fox from the spot. Don't understand that. What is that? He 一转语 Okay. 老人一百丈为野虎下一转语 Okay. What is a 转语? It's a particular instruction to talking about rebirth. So the elder recalled the Tang Dynasty master Baizhang Chansir, who also had a teaching to a fox and told him to leave his fox body, leave his animal body. Accordingly, they prepared a coffin, and it was buried according to the rites for a monk behind Nanhua Monastery. Then Master Empty Cloud composed this inscription: "Neither falling nor obscured, cause and effect are never wrong. The lacquer bucket is shattered, empty space, not smashed to dust." Sorry, one more time here. 因果即对，不快其通，虚空分碎. It is. So empty space is shattered. The 𝗥𝗲𝗰𝗀𝗀𝗀, between the dogs, the child of the canine and the Buddha nature, 有无合一, what doubt do you have? So this is he's speaking directly to the fox. Empty space smashed to dust. The lacquer bucket shattered. There we go. Does the dog have the Buddha nature or not? What obstructs you? On the ancient road, a withered stump of a tree, the bearing of a soaring hawk. The fox dies, the hare weeps, both alike burdened, moving among different species, contemplate Guanben Bodhisattva. Okay. So that's the story. That's the, as we say, the color photograph filling in for the black and white. sketch of the picture biography. What an amazing story, right? So here's the actual photo. What do you get? What do you make out of that? The fact that the monks gave the fox a monk's send-off, a burial, in a coffin. The subtext, the way to understand this is that from the Buddhist point of view, the bodies we're in right this minute, and I'm assuming everyone listening is a human, this is very much, they say, like a room in a hotel. The guest in the room is the real permanent thing. That would be the Buddha nature. In the analogy, the hotel room is a temporary lodging. So who's inside that fox's body is the question. It's not ultimately a fox. It's in a fox's body, as Master Empty Cloud says, because of a single wrong thought. So in that statement is another Buddhist teaching, is the idea that everything is made from the mind. And if we are careless in our thoughts and do things that we know, allow thoughts to grow that we know are harmful to self and others, there's a reaction. The mind is powerful, and it reacts to create the world around us. So if you accept that as a foundational teaching, then the challenge is to watch our thoughts carefully and be a good gardener in the mind ground and not allow harmful thoughts to stay or translate into action. So the fox missed that thought, left its human body, became a fox, and yet, even though it was a fox, it recognized Master Empty Cloud as its teacher and behaved in remarkably human ways, right? Why would you have a fox doing these things otherwise? So Master Empty Cloud, understanding the principle, speaks directly to the nature inside the fox and guides it to an end to its negative karma and to liberation. So how important is it to establish connections with good teachers, right? So even though he's a fox, he recognizes when he's met a true spiritual friend, Kalyana Mitra. And the other, conclusion for us listening to this story is even though, is to come to look at, first of all, the animals in our lives, for one, and understand that these affinities, these connections we have, you call it a pet or you call it your dinner. Do we pet the burger and eat the cat, or do we eat the burger and pet the cat? And what's the difference, ultimately, between the one we call Fluffy or Fido and the one that we call dinner? The answer is none, no different. And so we want to be careful with the affinities we create, even though we say, oh, well, I didn't kill it, I just bought it and cooked it. Ask the animal whether it wanted to be my dinner. And do I want to find a way to eat in a harmless way to benefit all creatures so I don't wind up somebody's dinner in the future? So what's this, they talk about the six-spoked path, the turning wheel with six destinations, hells, ghosts, animals, humans, asuras, devas, and that we kind of revolve around based on what we do in our last bodies. So if you accept those principles as having some farther seeing than the marketplace view, which is based on profit, basically, and says, grab for all the gusto you can get. We only go around once in this world. Buy Budweiser beer, right? That's one view, but we come to the Dharma because we want to see a little further than pleasing our senses over and over again. because there's a price we pay for that. So anyway, the fox was lucky. He was able to meet his teacher, take refuge, and be crossed over. So, amazing story. That's why we listen to these picture biographies, these incredible true stories of a teacher who lived just he entered nirvana at age 120 at the middle of the 20th century, 1959. So, not that long ago. Thank goodness his teachings are still here to give us some inspiration and point a way forward for us. I'm going to invite everybody to join me to dedicate merit with a mantra. We've got Medicine Buddha's mantra. And if we use that as our dedication tune, we can send out that goodness to a world that might have just recently missed an atomic holocaust. We don't want to borrow trouble, but it's, that was what was threatened. A lot of people last week were really nervous about that possibility. So if we can dedicate merit using Medicine Buddha's mantra, we can negate some of that negativity, because the Buddha's vibrations are really powerful. But they depend on our hearts to make them work. So, all right, please make a wish. Here we go. One more time. Samyak Sambuddhaya Saji Saji Saja Samukate Swaha. Now, before we're done, I'd like to invite everybody to join me in bowing to 𝗦𝗵𝗶𝗀𝗀𝗃. Here we go. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Here we go. All right. Oh, one more time here. Oh, please open for me. There we go. That's all for this week. See you all next week for more stories. Master Empty Clouds, Picture Biography. 𝗪𝗵𝗶𝗁𝗏, everybody.